Hello and good evening, everyone. We are live. Your host, Denzel Rodriguez, your personal finance geek of the 21st century. And today we are continuing our series on how to find the right home equity line of credit in the second position in the state of Massachusetts. So if you're in the house, please comment what state you are tuning in from. I have covered just about half of the United States so far. If you are someone in a state where I have not covered yet, you can comment that below and I will work on that for you. Today we're going to do a deep dive on the state of Massachusetts, and I'm going to tag the link to our playlist on how to find the right home equity line of credit in the chat. You'll also find it in the comment section below after this video is complete. All right, so I'm gonna put that right in the chat, have that on the screen as well. Let's put that right here. And let's dive right into the action, okay? So on the left-hand side of the board is our framework, which has not changed in this entire series of all the states we've covered so far. Still hasn't changed. So, current prime interest rate as of April 8th, as I'm recording this video, 2026, is at 6.75%. These are standards that if you have this checklist complete before applying for a home equity line of credit, you're setting yourself up to obtain the best home equity line of credit in your state, period. Hands down, cannot fail. This is exactly what banks want to see and who they want to lend to, regardless of where interest rates are, regardless of what's going on in the economy. These things have been the same for years and years and years. So that is, we want to see a credit score 720 or higher, DTI 30% or less, no more than 45. LTV options between 70 and 90%. You're typically going to get the best deal. The higher the LTV, when you start going to above 90, 95% to 100, is where you're basically, the bank is taking on more risk. So they're going to make up for that risk by giving you a higher interest rate on the HELOC, more than likely. Closing costs, I like to see zero or low, 500 bucks or less. There are third-party fees in every state. They vary. And so certain banks will cover those fees to do business with them, sort of like a little bit of an incentive. Others will give a credit of, say, 1,000 bucks, 500 bucks, and then your net out of pocket somewhere around 500. You do the math, that's still pretty good. Intro rate, right now we're seeing a lot of 6 to 12 month options. You can even see as long as 3 to 5 year fixed rate home equity line of credit options, anywhere between, for the 6 to 12 months, anywhere between 1.99 to 5.99% being the low. It even goes lower than 1.99, but usually the time frame ends up being like maybe 3 months, 4 months, 2 months, something like that. For the 3 to 5 year fixed rate HELOCs, you're going to see right above 5 to maybe 6 to 7% right now. Interest rate calculation is either going to be a prime, prime minus, or prime plus. We want to see prime minus. Those are our favorite, because that just simply means that your rate is always going to be below prime, wherever it's at, which is competitive to all your other loan rate debts that you're carrying. Draw period between 10 and 20 years is awesome. Anything below that, you have to keep in mind of how long it's going to take you to get out of debt, let's say. So if you have a current trajectory of being completely debt-free past 10 years or past 7 years and your draw period is only 5, keep that in mind. It's not the end of the world. You can always renew the line of credit. Might have to run your credit again, but my assumption is our credit would be even better then because of the amount of debt you'd eliminate. Build a relationship with the bank, please, before you apply. See, so many people skip over this. They just like find the bank and apply. They call and apply. I'm like, don't do that. Open up a checking account, open up a savings, move your banking over there, move your bill pay over there, reset up all your auto pays so that by the time you get the HELOC in place, you're moving fast. You already understand the app, you understand the new bank, you understand your login and all that good stuff. None of that's slowing you down. Also, we want to make sure that the bank we go with is mobile banking friendly, meaning they have an app, they have a portal. You're able to transfer money in and out of your HELOC instantly. We don't have to write checks. We don't have to show up. We don't have to call. We can do it right from our phone or right from our computer. That increases velocity as it pertains to the strategy. Last and final is payment option. Is it interest only or is it principal and interest payments? You would, when you're speaking to the bank, you want to ask, is there an incentive? Is there an incentive for me to pick principal and interest payments over interest only? If there's an incentive such as, yes, you get a longer intro rate. Yes, the prime minus is better than the variable rate option of the interest only. So then I would say go for the principal and interest. It's going to result in a higher monthly required payment each and every month. But that's honestly not an issue for us who are doing the strategy because you're already dumping all your income into the line of credit, which is considered a payment. And you're always doing that before the due date, so you're never really gonna have an issue. Also, it adds a level of discipline where when you leverage this HELOC, you're forcing yourself to pay off the HELOC with principal and interest payments. Versus the interest only HELOC is great from the standpoint of, okay, I'm only ever required to pay the interest on this line of credit, so my obligation is less. That might be advantageous to some. I'd say I'd give the green light to a client if they pick that. If they're already a good steward, they spend less than what they make, they have a track record of saving, they have a track record of paying off debt, and maybe they're trying to leverage debt to invest to create more income. I leave that up to your discretion. Typically, I'm going to lean more toward the principal and interest payment option for the second lien HELOC. All right. So now let's take it to the research. Now that I've given you the framework, as I've said, doesn't change. So because it doesn't change, it really makes our lives a lot easier in terms of what's the right line, what's not. So in the state of Massachusetts, I found no shortage of banks. Look at my tabs at the top here. Insane. No shortage whatsoever. Here's what I did. I researched credit unions in Massachusetts that offer a home equity line of credit. Just type that in your search box for those of you who live in that state, and you'll probably get more banks that pop up because of your IP address, where you're located. So I'm going to go one by one. I have not looked at any of these banks yet. I just literally just pulled up every bank I could find that is offering a home equity line of credit. The way these banks will make it to the whiteboard is if we see a prime minus, an intro rate, mobile banking friendly, low closing costs, prime minus, credit score, right? LTV 70-90%. We're trying to check as many boxes off of our framework as possible. Okay, let me get myself off the screen here so I don't block any of the viewpoints for you all. So starting with Mass Bay Credit Union, claiming to be one of the best home equity line of credits around. Let's see. Let's see. They got a couple different locations. They're telling us exactly who can apply for their HELOC. Here we go. Very attractive off the bat. They're going to make it to the whiteboard. They're doing intro rate 3.49% for 6 months, then prime minus 0.75%. So our interest rate would be 6% after the intro rate. Very, very attractive. 10-year draw, 15-year repayment. We like that. Let's see if there's any closing costs. So 80% is the max LTV, max credit line 200K. There is a minimum draw of 10,000 at closing. I don't necessarily love that. It's not a crazy number. Sometimes they go higher than that. More than likely, with a lot of people I work with, we can find purpose for that 10,000. If we're paying off debt and we're going to shift, a higher rate debt to 3.49% out the gate, I'm really not upset with that. But that is a parameter. And is there any closing costs? At closing, and $1,000 advances thereafter. Ooh, okay, what does that mean? 15-year repayment, minimum 10-year draw at closing, and $1,000 advances thereafter. Okay, that is a critical detail there that could make this HELOC not the best HELOC. If what they're saying, because the word advances, meaning two things. Either A, every time I want to take money out of this HELOC, it has to be a minimum of $1,000. Again, there's a workaround with that in terms of the strategy. It may not really be a problem for certain clients, certain people. Or B, are they saying, which I highly doubt, are they saying I have to take a $1,000 advance on a monthly or over, the draw period of this line of credit? I highly doubt that. I think it's most likely the first part. Okay. And we don't know what the closing cost is. But for now, we will add them to the whiteboard. So Mass Bay Credit Union. And let me just jot down these details. So we got 3.49, 6 months. We got prime minus 0.75%, 200K max, 80% LTV. And lastly, are they mobile banking friendly? This gives it away. When you see the products, they have a checking account. Cool. Take a look. No minimum balance, no monthly fee. We like that. Let's see, unlimited. Free and online mobile banking. That's the giveaway. So that is mobile banking friendly. We like that. The only detail we don't know is closing costs. Is there an annual fee on the home equity line of credit? We also do not know. Let me read again. Let's see if I can find it. It really didn't give any information on that. Let's go to the next bank. We have Metro Credit Union. Minimum, okay, that's a loan. Home equity line, minimum 25K to a half a mil, 10-year draw. Let's find their rates. Oh, so prime. Prime minus, actually, right? Because that's, let's read. Based on the prime published Wall Street Journal last business day, current prime rate 6.5. Minimum APR 3.25 for HELOC. 10-year draw. May have some closing fees. Very attractive. Home equity line of credit. Okay. Definitely makes it to the whiteboard because we see a prime minus 0.5%. So that's Metro Credit Union, prime minus 0.5. No intro rate, I don't see any. Closing costs, yes, but don't know how much. 500K max might be pretty attractive for some. If they're looking for more. And let's come back. 10-year draw. That's good, pretty standard. Are they mobile banking friendly? Come over to personal, become a member, checking accounts. No minimum balance or monthly fee. We like that. And let's see. Boom, right? Mobile banking. Friendly. We like that. So that's mobile banking friendly. Next up, Central One Federal Credit Union. Home equity line of credit as low as 5.75%. Look at this. For some of you that are looking at HELOCs on an investment property, as low as 7.75%, that's actually pretty attractive for an investment HELOC. Most banks are doing prime plus 2, 3, 4, 5%. This one's only prime plus 1%. So that's actually pretty attractive. But just staying focused here, we have a prime minus 1%. That's the lowest prime minus option we've seen so far. Immediately makes it to the whiteboard. So we got Central Federal Credit Union. Prime minus 1%. Home equity loan. Home equity line of credit. See, this is what throws me off sometimes when they say, okay, here we go. Home equity line of credit. You see, 100% home equity line of credit means 100% LTV. Skip that. We want right here. This is 80% of your first home, less first mortgage balance, or 70% of the tax assessment value. So you stay at 80% LTV, then you get the prime minus 1% with a floor rate of 3.25, which is insane, very attractive. So the floor rate means this is how low the line of credit will go. Most HELOCs are floating around 4% with the floor rate. So 3.25 is pretty nice. We see here, so the max is 17.5%, a little high. Don't love that. I really don't see a world where we get there anytime soon. No closing costs. Within, okay, hold on, within Worcester County with loans of 250 or less. Any loan amount above 4 will require an appraisal. So let's say we keep it at 250 max with 80% LTV. We should have no closing costs. That would be the parameters. I don't see an intro rate. Yep. Don't see an intro rate. 10-year draw, okay. 20-year repayment period, not bad at all. Ten-year draw. Now let's see, are they mobile banking friendly? So you go to bank, free checking. Very competitive so far out the gate, as we can see. So that's a premium checking. Regular check, enjoy, free, no monthly minimum balance, no monthly service charges, da-da-da. Cool. Early access. You know what I'm looking for. Mobile banking friendly. So mobile wallet. Control your card. Boom. Paperless. Notice how this, no, I probably missed it, but I did not see the words mobile banking. But from what they're sharing here, if we clicked on this, online mobile banking. See how I gave it away? Transfer funds, easy, easy. We like that. We like that. So Central Federal Credit Union does make it to the whiteboard. Next, Pioneer Valley Credit Union. Now personal line of credit. Where's my HELOC? Oh, duh. Click on that. Ooh. So we have the first bank so far, other than Mass Bay Credit Union, that was offering an intro. So we have an intro rate 4.99. The rate will vary based on the highest prime rate published. The Wall Street Journal, floor rate 3%. Okay, that was even lower. Maximum rate of 18. No closing costs. Member is responsible for recording fees. So those are third-party fees with the state. So the bank is saying, hey, we're not going to charge you anything. You do have to come out of pocket somewhat. If your loan is paid off within the year, brushing your hair, wash you. All right, so I'm going to guess that after the intro rate period, it goes to prime. That's my guess here. It's still worthy to make it to the whiteboard because of that intro rate. So still pretty worthy in that sense. This was Pioneer Valley. $4.99, 12 months, prime. Let's see if I can get more information. We saw that there was no closing costs. Let's go back. Home equity line of credit. 10-year draw. Wall Street Journal prime rate. Okay. So that's all they're sharing. Still worthy. We can put them on the board here. 10-year draw. Are they mobile banking friendly? Boom. Counts. Checking. Keep it simple, no fuss, no minimum, no monthly, blah, blah, blah. We like that. Online bill pay, we like that. That is basically mobile banking friendly. No argument. Next, we got Harvard Federal Credit Union. Now, with a bank like this, they may only do business with students or families that have students that go there. Sometimes that can be the case. Let's see. Home equity. Let's see what they got. No annual fees, no prepayment, no HELOC. HELOC debit card, so that's immediately mobile banking friendly if you already have a HELOC, blah, blah, blah. 10-year draw, 80%. Rate is below prime for the life of the line. Cool. Let's read. After the first 12 billing cycles, the annual, okay, variable, after the promotional period. So there's a promotional period. Interest rate will be set on the first day at 0.26 below prime. Okay. So basically 0.25 below prime immediately makes it to the whiteboard. And we have a 12-month intro rate. Harvard is on the board. So we got Harvard. Was it Federal Credit Union? Yeah, FCU. We got prime minus 0.26. We saw no closing costs. We like that. 80% LTV. No argument there. 10-year draw. Cool. And there's an intro rate. Let's see if we can, boom, mobile banking friendly. That clears up right there. Let's check these rates. Crimson Elite account holder mortgage auto pay will receive a 0.125 rate discount. This excludes, okay, excludes HELOCs. HELOC special 5.99 for the first 12 cycles. Cool. So 5.99%, 12 months. So far, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 banks. Not one of them that we've searched so far didn't make it to the whiteboard. That's cool. Don't know how to pronounce that. HELOC Credit Union. Looks like we have another bank. .5 below prime. So there's a basic and then there's a better than prime is what I'm reading. No closing costs, points or property valuation fees. Nice, nice. Immediately makes it to the board. Okay, so they have two separate products for their HELOC. Both are attractive. You can either take the 3.49 upfront for 12 months, but then you'll be at a prime, just prime, whatever prime is, or go for prime minus 0.5%, be at 6.25, and always be below prime, but no intro. 10-year draw. So we could go either way. Notice how the 100%, look at that, prime plus 2%. So we're going to avoid that. Stay below that 80% LTV range. I think that's what that was required. Okay. So we can put them on the board. So what makes you choose between having a prime minus or going for the 12-month 3.49%, which is the lowest intro rate option that we have on the board so far? I would say if you don't have a long debt payoff timeline and you have a few debts that you can really make a lot of damage in the first year, and you might lean more toward the 3.49, and then you're just at 6.75 afterwards. Not bad. But if you have a longer trajectory debt payoff plan, more than a couple years, well, then you might lean more towards, let me opt out of the intro and go with that prime minus. But then again, come back to the board, look at the other banks that are offering a little bit of everything. For example, Mass Bay was 6 months, 3.49. So you lose 6 months, but it's prime minus 0.75 and maybe a little more closing costs. So you really want to take that time. That's why I tell you guys, don't rush when you're applying for these HELOCs. Please don't rush. So let's do prime minus 0.5. We got no closing, 10-year draw. Mobile banking friendly. 3.49, 12 months. Okay. Let's come back. Personal. Open an account today. Checking. Simple. Free. No monthly. Online banking. Mobile banking. We like that. So they're mobile banking friendly. Cool. Next. SCU Credit Union. Introductory rate 5.99, 12 months. Look at that. You get a little bit of a higher intro and the prime minus 0.5. So you get both. Minimum amount 10,000 at closing. Principal plus interest payments or interest only. No annual fees. Look at that. Up to 750K, 80% LTV. Very attractive. SCU makes it to the board. So SCU Credit Union. prime minus 0.5%. $5.99 intro, 12 months, 750K max, 10-year draw, no annual fee. Looks like there is some closing costs. Not too upset about that. 80% LTV. Okay. So it looks like you can get the interest only option on top of the prime minus. Standard. Yes, so look, they're both the same. So there is no incentive to go with principal and interest payments in my example earlier in my explanation. We have a minimum draw at 10,000 at closing. Again, not a big deal. Notice how there wasn't any language about any advances afterwards. Okay, closing costs. Between 300 to 600, not bad. Can live with that. $300 to 600. Boom. Next, IC Credit Union. Home equity line of credit. Oh my goodness. Massachusetts is competing for your business. So it looks like they have two, 4.99 for the first 12 months, 6.29 after 6.25 after 12 months. Another prime minus 0.5%. My goodness. If you live in this state, there's no shortage of banks. Waive closing fees ranging from $350 to up to $1,000. We like that. Yeah. What more do you want? Let's add them. So that was IC. I'm running out of space, folks. On the whiteboard, I got to do like shorthand now. So IC Credit Union. I'm going to put the most popular details. So prime minus 0.5, 4.99 intro. You just have to trust me on the rest of the info. Hanscom Federal Credit Union. Next. Let's call it the 3-in-1 HELOC. That combines the best features of standard with a fixed rate advance option, convenient credit card access, no minimum draw, no closing costs, no app fee. Let's see what you got. $75 LTV, prime minus 0.5. I like that. Sheesh, Hanscom Credit Union makes it to the board. Man. By the way, those of you that are watching in neighboring states, and let's say your state was not as competitive in the research, and one of these banks, typically when it's a federal credit union, they will cover more than one state, usually neighboring states. So here we got another prime minus 0.5%. Let's come back. Let's see, did they have an intro rate? I don't see an intro rate, but still attractive enough to make it to the whiteboard. Worcester Credit Union. See what they got. Home equity. Current rates. Look at this. 12-month, 4.95. Minimum draw 10,000, okay. Maximum loan 726. It's an odd number. Okay. Prime minus 1%. Ay, Dios mío. We like that. We like that. We like that. And then they also have a fixed rate HELOC, but not that attractive if you're giving me prime minus 1%. That's the VIP Edge HELOC. So this was Worcester Credit Union. My goodness, no shortage here. Prime minus 1%. Intro 4.95, 12 months. Game changer. And we will confirm mobile banking. No, oh, boom. Free digital banking. Cool. Easy. 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 Next. Energy Credit Union. Longest draw period we've seen so far, 15 years. Oh my God. Prime minus 1%. Sheesh. 80% LTV. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So HELOC and new HELOC. 10-year draw. Prime minus 0.75. So what's the difference? My goodness. You live in Massachusetts, man. You are getting out of debt fast. This is so attractive. So Energy Credit Union, 15-year draw. Prime minus 1%. I didn't see an intro, but I take that over the intro. So Worcester was prime minus 1% and a 4.95 intro rate. So that is kind of like beating everybody out right now. So this was also prime minus 1%. We do have that 15-year draw. Very attractive. I'm literally out of space on my whiteboard. Literally every single bank that we went through has made it to the whiteboard. Oh, I already did Pioneer before. I'll close that. Cornerstone Bank next. Oh my goodness, look at this. Intro rate 5.75 first 6 months, variable prime minus 0.5. Attractive, makes it to the whiteboard. Easy, you don't even have to think about it. Banking, checking, simple, free. Mobile banking, can't complain. Let's throw them on. Literally out of space. So now you're just gonna have to go off memory at this point. Cornerstone Bank. Can't even like write anything. Prime, what was it? Prime minus, nope. Yeah. Prime minus 0.5. 5.75, 6 months. Out of space. Next bank. Greylock Federal Credit Union. Covering Berkshire County, Columbia County. So specifically throughout those 2 locations. Whoops. Borrow. Loan. Home equity line. No closing costs. 80%. 10-year draw. The credit union pays third-party fees. Cool. So no closing costs. 18%. The first bank that isn't gonna make it to the whiteboard, only because we don't know what the interest rate is based off of. They have a 12-month intro though. 5.49. Oh, here we go. Might be able to tell us right here. Up to 2 months. Okay. 80% to obtain 5.49 annual. Okay, boom. After, we'll revert to current prime plus 0. Worthy of the whiteboard. Greylock Federal Credit Union. So I'm just telling you they're worthy of the whiteboard. I literally don't have space. Rockland Federal Credit Union. Let's see what we got. Mobile banking, cool. View rates. Prime minus, oh my goodness, 0.5, 250, max, 80%, 500K max for the 1 unit primary. Can't complain. You could throw them on the whiteboard. Don't know if they have an intro rate. Another worthy bank. Rockland Federal Credit Union. Worthy. Shrewsbury Federal Credit Union. We've covered this in other states neighboring. This bank has very unique fixed home equity line of credit options. As you can see, 3 years fixed at 5.99, 5 years fixed at 6.24. So that's prime minus 0.5 after the fix, and then same prime minus 0.5 after the fix. Very attractive if you're someone that's like, I kind of want a fixed rate, want to lock in, no closing costs. So this is already a qualified bank because we've covered them before. Here's another one, the Polish National Credit Union. What information can they give us? Check our rates. Look at that. 5.25 intro rate. How long? Let's see. 12 months. 12 months. Cool. Prime minus 0.5. Cool. 10-year draw. Cool. Borrow, be responsible for any and all fees. So they got some closing costs. Cool. 80% LTV. Not mad. Membership required. Remember, open up a bank account first. The Polish National Credit Union. Worthy. Next bank. Quincy Credit Union. 0.25 minus prime. 250K max. Don't know if there is an intro rate. Doesn't look like it. Pretty straightforward. Prime minus 0.25. Another worthy bank. Quincy. And the last bank, SMCU Credit Union. Home equity line of credit. %, prime minus 0.5, 10-year draw, standard closing costs. Don't see an intro. Another worthy bank. And we look a little bit lower down here. 400,000 max credit line. Not bad. Not bad. Got about 100 to 1,000 closing costs. Okay. Wow. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 qualified, bona fide banks in the state of Massachusetts. My friend Glenn, no shortage, buddy. No shortage of banks. Hope this video was extremely valuable to you in the time we've spent together. Coming up on the hour. These are all the banks that made it to the whiteboard. My favorite ones, Worcester caught my eye. Prime minus 1% plus an intro rate of 4.95 in the first 12 months. Energy was prime minus 1%, but no intro rate. Coming over. Mass Bay was prime minus 0.75% with an intro 3.49, like that. Central. So the thing that attracts me, this is out of preference, the thing that attracts me the most is the prime minus, intro rate, and no closing costs, or very little. Those are the things that attract me the most. Central Federal Credit Union was prime minus 1%, 250K max, no closing costs, 80%, 10-year draw, but no intro. So for me, out of all the banks we saw, Worcester is like probably going to be number one for me. Then it's probably going to be between Mass Bay and Central Federal Credit Union. From the standpoint of that prime minus 1%, those are the three banks we saw, four banks that were at prime minus 1%. In terms of the most attractive intro rates, we saw the 3.49 by Holyoke Credit Union, prime minus 0.5. And we saw IC Credit Union with the 4.99, very attractive, and Pioneer with the 4.99, very attractive. But that's at prime, so Pioneer gets beat out by IC and Holyoke because of their lower interest rates and the fact that it's prime minus 0.5 afterwards. Very attractive. That concludes our session today on finding the right home equity line of credit in the second position in the state of Massachusetts. For those of you who are loyal followers and subscribers, I have an announcement to make. In the last 4 months, I have not been taking on any new business. I've been focusing on my existing clients and new clients at the end of 2025 that enrolled. So literally from January 1st up until April 8th this year, I have not offered anything in regards to coaching. I just rolled it out yesterday to those of you who are on my email list. I'm now verbally letting my public audience know that I now have my financial coaching services open and available. In order to view it, it is not on my website. The only thing you can buy on my website is my partners, resources, information, and booking a consultation with me, or enrolling in Finance Geek Ministry, or my Velocity course, the financial courses that I have available. So you will not be able to access that unless you join my email list. So you can literally reach out to me. My email is on my website, and I'll even throw it in the chat as well for you. You can reach out. Hey, I want to join your email list. How do I get on? I'll add you to it, get you on there. Boom, hit enter, bam. This is the email that I will look at. This is the way of communicating with me on an ongoing basis. I do my best to respond to everyone. Clients take priority over everyone else. They get responded first. Everyone else, again, respect that I do run an entire practice as well as this YouTube channel where I'm literally giving all this for free away. And then I have a client base that invest in their personal financial development, their accountability, and have my one-on-one support where I walk them through this entire process from A to Z. Those of you that want to work with me on a one-to-one basis, you're going to have to reach out. Those of you who are already on my email list, an email went out earlier, yesterday or 2 days ago, releasing my financial coaching program. It is a 1-year program where you get coaching one-to-one, all done by me. And it is a mix of tangible services and intangible services. The intangibles are the digital courses that you'll have access to, the one-on-one time with me, the live group private coaching workshops that I do all throughout the year. Access to everything I know, wisdom, will be given to you. Those are all the intangibles, helping you achieve your financial goals. The tangibles, this is something brand new that I'm rolling out. Over the last 8 years of my career, I've made strategic relationships and partnerships, which has now allowed me to broker deals, relationships where now when you invest in financial coaching with me, I'm able to offer you a credit towards different services. If you use those services within my economy of partnerships, you're literally getting money back for doing the right thing with your finances. So some of those credits include a tax filing credit. So let's say you don't have a relationship with an accountant today. You're doing on your own TurboTax. You're making mistakes. You're owing money. You're missing out on opportunities. Literally, you invest in my financial coaching. You're then going to get a $400 credit towards a free strategy session with a tax strategist, and credit towards your W-2 filings for the year that we're in. So it would be for this year when you file in 27 for 2026, because literally if you haven't filed your taxes yet, you got like no time. So you need to get on top of that. So that's one tangible service, tangible credit that's including in the coaching that you're investing in with me. So it's literally like you invest in me, now I'm investing some of the money that you are paying me. So I'm relinquishing myself of some profit here and blessing you with some credits to continue to do business with some of my partners. It's like a phenomenal, like God driven idea that got developed a few weeks ago. Now I'm rolling it out for the first time. I'm so excited about it. You have that. You're going to get another credit toward getting your will done, getting your revocable living trust done, getting your power of attorney, healthcare directive, all your estate planning documents, like the standard stuff that most Americans don't have. You're going to get a credit towards getting that done, getting that completed, working with my team. Amazing. Third credit, you're going to get a credit toward 1 year of legal and identity theft protection. How's that? So you literally invest in my financial coaching, and I invest in your legal and identity theft protection. Oftentimes, I work with a lot of folks. So really surprising, like this is kind of crazy. But I have a good amount of clients over the years who have been scammed, who have dealt with identity theft, literally their driver's license, their social security number, their passport, some really, really important